Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Thursday, November 3rd, 2022, after 3 p.m. Eastern. We're having a reverse aging health call, Friday, tomorrow, at 9 p.m. Eastern. Now, there are many visualization techniques and manifesting exercises that we can do to start attracting a specific goal, vision, or dream into our lives. But sometimes this life will test us. And our ordinary day can become extremely challenging just so we will grow, expand, and evolve onto the next level. Whenever we are pushed to our limit in this life, the universe is attempting to expand the old ceiling that we have placed above ourselves. It's trying to help us get in touch with a deeper aspect of ourselves that is fearless, unstoppable, and undefeatable. Whenever we are truly blocked by this life, just stop and notice the end result we truly are trying to attain and how much we are actually invested in creating it. We've heard the old saying that we must either sink or swim in this life. It is one of that shows up on a moment-to-moment basis. Every second of our lives, we have the choice to thrive or survive. Thrive or survive. We can choose to just get by or start living our dream life. It's the ordinary moments in this life where big decisions are made and our true character appears on the stage of life's grand play. Now, we can either learn to become a sheep and follow the flock, wherever it leads, or become a lion who must constantly break free from its false sheep clothing. We can find great strength in playing the rebel and also find tremendous peace in merging with the flock. However, the most enlightened path of all is coming from a place that is free from both extremes, living beyond this world in a state of being that is at peace, no matter what occurs. This is what inner mastery is all about. Great spirits have always found violent opposition from mediocre minds. Great spirits have always found violent opposition from mediocre minds, Albert Einstein. In order for us to grow in this life, we must take risks. The greater the risk, the more the potential is for tremendous growth to occur. When we take a bold step out of our comfort zone, we immediately move into our power. This can be scary for others who can feel a lack of control, status quo, and become threatened. This is never to be taken personally, for these controlling people are simply pretending to be the general manager of their universe, trying to keep their life on track, safe, and inside a certain container. Any original thinking, words, or actions that make them realize how unhappy they are inside. And then they must choose or admit how small and overly controlled they truly feel inside. One of the main goals of this life is breaking free from all limitations and boundaries on what we think is possible, because anything's possible. Whenever we feel defeated by this life or encounter tremendous resistance, remember that it is an opportunity to build tenacity, courage, and persistence. There are no failures in the eyes of the divine. Everyone is on purpose, and everything happens for a reason. When we were babies, we first learned how to crawl and stand up, take our first steps, fall down dozens of times before we got the balance right. Even though we may have landed flat on our faces, the truth is that we never gave up. We persisted to learn how to walk, and eventually we even learned to run. If one advances confidently in the direction of one's drama or dreams and endeavors to live the life with one which one has imagined, one will meet with a success unexpected in common hours. Henry David Thoreau. If one advances confidently in the direction of one's dreams and endeavors to live the life which one has imagined, one will meet with a success unexpected in common hours. Many of the most successful and famous people in this life, well, you could say they really didn't have an easy ride to the top. Most of them met huge resistance and rejection along the way. Now, do you believe that all of us on this planet, no matter what our status, are met with similar challenges? It doesn't matter if someone, you hear about all the famous people meeting with challenges throughout history. But don't you believe that we all, every one of us, are met with challenges before we finally discover who and what we are? So many of us don't look at this life and say, my thoughts made this life for me. Our life is what our thoughts make it. Marcus Aurelius. We have always been and will always be amazing, powerful, supreme beings who have the power to instantly and effortlessly materialize any desired outcome into this physical world. All of us, not just a few here and there, or, they're gifted, they're special. And then other people say, well, we don't have that. We can't do that. And that's crap, because they can. There's no need for another moment of suffering to occur for any of us, for us to realize this deeper truth inside of us. Who we really are is beyond the physical world, let's face it, which is what enables us to manifest anything in it. Who we really are is beyond this physical world, which is what enables us to manifest anything in it. We come from the manifests, that is pure, unlimited, divine potentiality. We are naturally a soul, a God, permanently and forever. For eternity, this spiritual essence is the core truth of who and what will always be. There is nothing we can do to change this, nor anything we can do to turn off the natural manifesting powers that come with this body and mind we are inhabiting. Doesn't that make sense? Why would we enter a body that had no ability, that had no power, couldn't manifest anything? God comes into the body and says, well, there's no way that we can't create anything. That'd be silly. And our challenge is ego mind. We're met with that every time we enter a body. And not necessarily that we, like when we're babies, do we have an ego? No. Do we have a mind? Not really. What are we doing? Exploring, discovering. Do we have fear in the beginning? No, we don't have any fear because we haven't learned what fear is, which is a thought. Starts with a thought. Do we worry, stress? Do we have anxiety? No, not until other people's thoughts start forming us, molding us, creating our personality, creating our characters, creating our name. We're given a name, but we are not the name. We are no name. It's like someone would say to you, what is your name? You go, I don't have a name. What? Got to have a name. I don't have a name. Experiencing ourselves as natural manifesting beings in our everyday world can be easier and more enjoyable than any of us would think. In fact, each moment is another direct doorway to exploring the divine understanding within us and all around us. What could be more enjoyable than that? In fact, each moment is another direct doorway to exploring the divine understanding within us and all around us. This inner and outer exploration of the divine is what makes our entire journey on this earth worthwhile and will provide more evolutionary progress for our souls, our God, than anything else we could or should be doing here. The discovery, or some people call the secret to manifesting what we really want in this life, comes from shifting into this higher spiritual frequency of thinking and consciousness. When we are vibrating with joy, enthusiasm, love, and trust, we will automatically attract things, situations, and people that resonate at this higher frequency. High vibrations attract even higher vibrations, and so on. Wherever our attention goes is where the energy flows. We do not always need to be aware of this process for it to work, but it's a good idea that we are. Simply put, whatever we're thinking about is what is being manifested, period. Proven over and over again. We're always manifesting something. We're always creating 24/7, whether it is a compulsive worrying habit, an intimate relationship, our next meal, or world peace. Whatever we think about will grow and become our experience more frequently down the road. Now, the big question is, are we clear about what we want to manifest and what we don't want to manifest. We are all born with this innate ability to materialize thoughts into physical form and can improve upon this gift by learning how to harness the power of the mind. All that is needed is total surrender to the idea, feeling, and experience of what we want to manifest as if it is already here now. Instantaneous manifestation occurs when we can hold this sensation and continuously realize, release the emotional negativity and resistance to having it be real. When there is zero resistance, total openness to the infinite possible ways it can happen, and a deep knowingness that our desired outcome has already manifested on some level for us in the here and now, then it has to manifest for us instantly. When there is zero resistance, total openness to the infinite possible ways things can happen, and a deep knowingness that our desired outcome has already manifested on some level for us in the here and now, then it has to manifest for us instantly. Now, to many, this may seem impossible, ridiculous, or miraculous, yet it is as natural as the warmth from the sunshine above. To just surrender to it all, sit back, and enjoy the ride. How do we want things to unfold? How do we want things on this planet? How do we want our lives to be? How do we want things to occur for us and the rest of the civilization? It's high time that humanity, the civilization, whatever you label it, understands that and comprehends it, and then executes it. Follows through with it. Without doubt, without questioning, without fear, without negativity, because that's all ego mind. It's letting go, surrendering to the fact that all of us are omnipotently powerful supreme beings that can create anything we desire. And we've been so trained through this society, most of us don't believe that. Therefore, we never get the opportunity to use it. Now, sometimes we will unconsciously, things you might have had a thought passing. It might have been very intense in passing through the heart mind to the ego mind, but it was a thought. And it was so powerful that you made that energy form into a reality, and then you experience it. And those are the times when we say, where did this come from? In a good way. Wow, this is great. Or when you say you haven't heard from somebody in a long time. I think we've all experienced that one or more times. And you start thinking about it. And it's heartfelt, right? You know, I wonder why I haven't heard from so-and-so. But you don't obsess on it. It just passes, right? And almost within a very short period of time, you hear from them. And if you've used a term like we have, and we've all used this, I was just thinking about you. You ever done that? And the person that you were thinking about, out of the clear blue, communicates with you. Now, we don't correlate that and say, I manifested this. I created it. I wondered what happened to them. I hadn't heard from them, and all of a sudden, there they are. And a lot of the times, unconsciously, we create things for ourselves, and we believe that it's coming from somewhere out there. There's just some independent energy, and all along, you are that energy. You are, you're moving energy into form. You are creating it into reality, and you are experiencing it. Now, some of us have chosen to move to the understanding that we do know partially that what we focus on, we create. Some people have gotten to the stage where they can focus on something consciously and they know it's being created. And they have no concern on when, how, why. They just know it's being created and they will experience it. And for this planet, for this civilization, to catapult itself forward into the great expanse of the unknown, where all the possibilities are, it will eventually discover across the board that it is a super powerful, supreme being that can manifest anything. We have, all of us have this, but for the most part, we're in these bodies for a very short period of time. And then what happens? We leave. The suit gets worn, so we take off the suit, which means we leave. You ever notice that people always, I'd say most of the time, try to dump things on others? For instance, you're in anxiety because your children are becoming hippies, right? Or whatever. Loose participants. Your girl is taking dope. Your boy is doing everything that is wrong. Long hair, beard, drugs. He's dropped out of the university. You are in anxiety. What is going to happen? You are dumping your anxiety on the girl, on the boy, on the wife. Anybody will do. Do you think if your boy was getting perfectly straight, right, was going perfectly straight, your girl was not getting pregnant before marriage, if they were not on drugs, do you think you would have been without anxiety? I know many people whose daughters are following whatever they say, whose sons are doing their education the way the parents want. Still, they have anxiety over something else. They will find some other object to become worried about. And manifest that worry. If you have children, you are worried about your children. If you don't have children, you are worried why God has not given you children. This world of ours seems to be really a zoo of all kinds of animals, doesn't it? Dropping the layers of our ego means that we are ready to commit a psychological suicide. And some people call it sannyas. just to give it a good name. But sannyas, right? Or you could call it suicide. Now you would be more frightened. We have come here to be enlightened, not to commit suicide. But the reality is that unless you commit suicide, there is no enlightenment. People want enlightenment, and they do not want to drop anything to lose anything, say. They don't. People want enlightenment, and they don't want to drop anything to lose anything. You want enlightenment as you are. Now, that is not doable. You will have to chop out many things which have become almost identical with yourself. And that's what we should be doing continuously. Hitting, hammering, and shocking ourselves. And you're doing everything possible that can shock yourself, hurt you, wound you, because you want you to become aware that it is your ego that gets wounded. It is your ego that gets hurt. Do you believe, right? The ego, which is very insecure, which is an illusion created by the mind, and you begin to realize to not follow your fear instinct, because that is going to make you a coward. It degrades your humanity. It is a humiliation imposed by yourself. Whenever you see some fear, go against it. A simple criterion. Whenever you see there is fear, go against it. And you will be always moving, growing, expanding, coming closer to the moment when ego simply drops. Because its whole functioning is through fear. Its whole functioning is through fear. And the absence of the ego is enlightenment. It is not something plus. Enlightenment is not something plus added to you. Enlightenment is you completely one. It is minus phenomenon. You are no longer there. It does not happen to you. It happens when you are no longer hindering it, when you are not. And that's why some people call enlightenment a psychological suicide. Now, all of us, we say, are Buddha at different levels, different understandings. Some unconscious, some conscious. To be a Buddha, to be enlightened, is the most ordinary phenomenon. To be a Buddha, to be enlightened, is the most ordinary phenomenon. Now, when I say ordinary, I mean it must be so. If it looks extraordinary, it is because of you, because you create so many hurdles and you love them. First, you create the obstacle, and then you try to cross it. And then you feel very elated. In the first place, there is no obstacle, but your ego will not feel good. You must create a long route to come to the point that was the nearest, the most intimate one. And you had never missed it. So don't seek something mysterious. Just be simple, innocent, and then the whole existence opens to you. You will not go mad. You can simply smile at the absurdity of the whole thing that was so near, but you could not attain it. And there was no barrier. It was, in a sense, always within you. It was a miracle how you went on missing it. If the emptiness is real, all that is there, the whole of it, the reality, will be open to you. Not that it is closed right now. It is open. You are closed. Your mind is occupied. When your mind is empty, unoccupied, you will be open to it. And there will be a meeting. And then everything is beautiful in its total ordinariness. Hence it is said that one who has known becomes absolutely ordinary. He is one with reality. To be hankering for the special is the way of the ego. And all the ways of the ego create gaps and distances between you and the real. Be empty, and everything will have happened to you. But don't wait for anything special. Nirvana is nothing special. So when I say this, what is happening to your mind? When I say nirvana is nothing special, what do you feel? How do you feel? You feel a little disappointed. In the mind, the question must arise, then why struggle? Then why make any effort? Then why meditate? Then why these techniques? Look at that mind. That mind is the problem. The mind wants something special. And because of that desire, the mind goes on creating special things. In reality, there is nothing special. Either the whole of reality is special or nothing is special. Because of this desire, the mind has created heaven, paradises. And it is not satisfied with just one. It goes on creating many. Christians have one heaven. Hindus have 7. Because there are so many good people, there must be a hierarchy. Where should the supreme good go? There is no end to it. In Buddha's days, there was a sect who believed in 700 heavens. You have to place the ego. The highest ego must go to the highest heaven. This is what we're all doing. We have a conception of something special in the end, and because of that special, we go on moving. But remember, because of that special, we are not moving anywhere at all. We are moving in desires. And a movement in desire is not a progress, it is circular. If we can still meditate, knowing well that nothing special is going to happen, then we will just come to a reconciliation with the ordinary reality, that we will be in harmony with this ordinary reality. If with this mind we can meditate, then enlightenment is possible this very moment. But with this mind, we won't feel like meditating. We will say, if nothing special is going to happen, leave it all. Now, I have people come to me and they say, I've been meditating for 3 months and nothing has happened yet. A desire, and that desire is the barrier. It can happen in a single moment if desire is not there. So don't desire the mysterious. Really. Don't desire anything. Just be at ease, at home, with reality, as it is. Be ordinary. To be ordinary is wonderful, because then there is no tension, no anguish. To be ordinary is very mysterious because it is so simple. To me, meditation is a play, a game. It is not a work, but to many, it goes on being work. We think in terms of work. It will be good to understand the distinction between work and play. Work is end-oriented. not enough in itself. It must lead somewhere, to some happiness, to some goal, to some end. It is a bridge, means. In itself, it is meaningless. The meaning is hidden in the goal. Play is totally different. There is no goal to it. Or it itself is the goal. Happiness is not beyond it, outside it. To be in it is to be happy. It will not give any of us any happiness outside of it. There is no meaning beyond it. All that is there is intrinsic, internal. We play, not because of any reason, but because we enjoy it right now. It is purposeless. That's why only children can play, really. The more we grow, the less capable we become of playing. Because of more and more purpose. More and more we ask why. Why should I play? We become more and more end-oriented. Something must be achieved through it. In itself, it has no meaning. Intrinsic value loses meaning for us. Only children can play because they don't think of the future. They can be here, now, timelessly. Work is time. Play is timeless. And meditation must be like play, not end-oriented. Meditation must be like play, not end-oriented. We must choose not meditate to achieve something, because then the whole point is lost. So we don't meditate to achieve something, because then the whole point is lost. We cannot meditate at all if we are meditating for something. We can meditate only if we are playing with it, enjoying it. If nothing is to be achieved out of it, if it is beautiful in itself. Meditation for meditation's sake, then it becomes timeless. And then the ego cannot arise. Meditation for meditation's sake, then it becomes timeless. And then the ego cannot arise. Without desire, we cannot project ourselves into the future. Without desire, we cannot start expectations. And without desire, we will never be disappointed. Without desire, time really disappears. We move from one moment of eternity to another moment of eternity. There is no sequence. Then you will never ask why nothing special is happening. Many have not known and have not come to know the mystery yet. The very play is the mystery. Being timeless, desireless, is the mystery. And to be ordinary is the goal. If you allow the word, use the word, to be ordinary as the goal. If you can be ordinary, you are liberated. Then there is no samsara for you. No world for you. This whole world is a struggle to be extraordinary. Some try it in politics. Some try it in economics. Some try it in religion. But the lust remains the same. Many people, what is innocence? Does being innocent require one to live a simple life? Innocence is a state of thoughtless awareness. It is another name for no mind. It is the very essence of Buddhahood. We become attuned to the ultimate law of things. We stop fighting. We start flowing with it. In other words, we don't fight the current. We go downstream effortlessly. The cunning mind fights because it is through fight that the ego arises. And the cunning mind can exist only around the ego. They can only be together. They are inseparable. If the ego disappeared, the cunning mind disappeared. And what is left is innocence. If we are fighting with life, with this life, if we are going against the current, if we are not natural, spontaneous, if we are living out of the past and not in the present, we are not innocent. To live according to the past is to live an irresponsible life. It is the life of reaction. We don't see what a situation is. We simply go on repeating our old solutions and problems are new every day, every moment. Life goes on changing, and the mind remains static. That is the whole problem, that the mind remains a static mechanism, and life is a constant flux. Hence, there can be no communion between life and the mind. Now, if we remain identified with the mind, we will remain almost dead. We will not have any share in the joy that overwhelms existence. We will not be a participant in the celebration that is continuously going on. Birds singing, the trees dancing, the rivers flowing. We also have to be powerful. We will want to prove ourselves higher than superior. Then we, in this, prove our superior. Because in existence, there is nobody who is superior, nobody superior. And the great stars are absolutely equal. Existence is fundamentally communist, communist. There is no hierarchy. But man wants to be higher than others. He wants to conquer nature. Hence, he has to continuously fight. All complexity arises out of this fight. The innocent person is one who has renounced fighting, who is no longer interested in being higher, who is no longer interested in performing, in providing that he or she is something special, who has become like a rose flower or like a dewdrop on the lotus leaf, who has become part of this infinity, who has melted, merged, and become one with the ocean, and is just a wave, who has no idea of the I. The disappearance of the I is innocence. Hence, innocence cannot require you to live a simple life. Innocence cannot require anything of you. All requirements are cunning. All requirements are basically to fight, to be somebody. Innocence simply lives without any idea of how to live. Innocence simply lives without any idea of how to live. Bring in the how, and you become complex. Innocence is a simple response to the present. Ideas are the accumulated past. And understand what Buddha means is that you're simply enlightened. How Buddha lived, live like that and you will be a Buddhist. How Jesus lived, live like that and you will be a Christian. But then you will be imposing something upon yourself. Existence never creates two persons alike. Each individual is unique. So if you impose Jesus upon yourself, you will be a phony. All Christians are bound to be phony. And all Hindus, all Jainas, all Buddhists, because they are trying to be somebody that they cannot be. You can't be Gautama the Buddha. You can be a Buddha, but not Gautama the Buddha. Buddha means awakened, enlightened. That is our birthright. But Gautama is an individual. You'll be a Christ, but you cannot be Jesus Christ. Jesus is an individual. Christ is another name for Buddhahood. It is the ultimate state of consciousness. And yes, that is possible. That is your potential. You can bloom and flower into Christ consciousness. But you can never be Jesus. That is not possible. And it is good that it is not possible. But that's how so-called religious people have lived, trying to follow somebody else, imitating. Now, an imitator cannot be simple. He constantly has to adjust life to his ideas. A really innocent person goes with life. He simply flows with life. He has no goal as such. If you have a goal, you can't be innocent. You will have to be clever, cunning, and manipulating. You will have to plan, and you will have to follow certain maps. How can you be innocent? You'll be carrying so much rubbish from others. You will be just a carbon copy of Jesus or Buddha or Mahavira. You will not be the original. Bodhidharma says again and again, find your original face. And the only way to find your original face is to drop all imitation. Who is going to decide what the requirement is? Nobody can decide. And any decision is bound to disturb because life cannot and may not turn out the way you expect it to. It never really turns out the way it is expected to. Life is a constant surprise. We cannot prepare beforehand. Life needs no rehearsal. We have to be spontaneous. That is innocence. Now, if you are spontaneous, you cannot be Christian. You cannot be Hindu. And you cannot be Buddhist. You have to be a simple human being. Simplicity is not a requirement, but a byproduct of innocence. It comes just like your shadow. You don't try to be simple. If you try to be simple, the very effort destroys simplicity. You cannot cultivate simplicity. A cultivated simplicity is superficial. Simplicity has to follow you like a shadow. You need not bother about it. You need not look back again and again and again to see whether the shadow is following you or not. The shadow is bound to follow you. Attain innocence, and simplicity comes as a gift from existence. And innocent means becoming a no mind, a no ego, dropping all ideas of goals, achievements, ambitions, and living just as it happens in the moment. No one's telling you to be celibate. Yes, one day celibacy can happen, but it will not be something to be practiced. It will be something that you will see happening. And certainly, before one becomes a Buddha, one becomes celibate. But that is not a requirement. Remember again and again and again, it is not a requirement that you have to fulfill so that you will become a Buddha. So if you simply go on becoming more aware of your mind, as the mind starts disappearing and becomes more and more distant from you, as you become unified with the mind and you start seeing that you are separate, that you are not the mind, you will find many things happening with this disappearance of the mind. You will start living moment to moment because it is the mind that collects the past. We cannot depend on it. Our eyes will be clear, not covered with the dust of the past. We will be free from the dead past. And one who is free from the dead past is free to live authentically, sincerely, passionately, intensely. One can become aflame with life and its celebration. But the mind is continuously distorting, continuously interfering, continuously telling you, do this, do that. It is like a schoolmaster. The meditator becomes free of the mind. And once the past is no longer dominating you, the future simply disappears. Because the future is nothing but a projection of the past. In the past, you have experienced certain pleasures, and you would like to repeat them again and again and again. That is your protection. That is your projection for the future. In the past, you have been through many miseries. Now you project onto the future that you don't want those miseries again. Your future is nothing but a modified form of the past. Once the past is gone, the future is gone. Then what is left? This moment, the now. I'll join you in the meditation, and I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose, and an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still. Mind is always busy focusing on something. It is stuck in automatic and unconscious perpetual shift of attention. It has been busy your whole life and desperately needs a vacation. So for today is to not focus on anything. Get a timer, and for 3 minutes practice having no focus at all. To prepare yourself for this feat, it is best that you sit down, lean against the wall, and relax every muscle in your body. Once your body is at ease, simply experience your own presence. If your mind starts to dream, think, and wander, reset the clock and start over. Do not push your attention onto or off of anything. The mind cannot focus on not focusing. Just be in a deep let go and surrender to your own presence. Be completely present to the presence inside of you. Surrender to the continuous experience of your presence, and the universe will provide you with everything you've been searching for your entire life. Once you stop focusing completely for a few solid minutes, you will empty yourself out and be filled with the highest possible awareness that you can imagine. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, and tomorrow morning. And we will return here Friday, November 4th, 2022, 3 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. And be good to yourself.